Hello everyone, and I hope that you're well. I'm outside the allotment shed this week. It's Monday morning. I've got quite a list of jobs to do. But first of all, look at the cherry blossom. It's just incredible. In my previous video, when I was clearing out the shed, I had onions and shallots in there. Now, these shallots have all started to sprout. Now, I've not done this before. I normally plant new sets each year, but I'm going to have a go at planting my own ones. Don't think I've got anything to lose. Now to decide where to put them, and I'm thinking in this bed. Now, this is some garlic. It's looking a bit sickly actually. I got this from our sort of allotment association. It could be down to all different things. The compost. They look randomly planted. They weren't, but a fox has enjoyed having a bit of a dig around in this bed. But I have got this section free, so I'm going to prepare that and pop the shallots in there. I'm possibly guilty of planting things a little too close together. I always do it, but to be fair, the results always seem to be okay. It's because I'm trying to utilise as much of the beds as I can. Now, the compost I've used is this Jack's Magic. Not had it before. Can't say I'm going to buy it again. Not overly impressed. It could prove me wrong with growing, but just the feel of it and the look of it, not really impressed. How many times can I say impressed? On the list today is topping up the potato buckets. Now, these are all shallots. Planted them a couple of weeks ago and I can see already that they're shooting through. So I'll be topping up those buckets today and giving them a good drink. I think this is the last bag I've got of this Jack's Magic. So I'll use it up to top up the potato pots. It might be that the final topping up I'll switch to a different compost. I'm just a little worried that this hasn't got the nutrients the potatoes need, but I did add some blood, fish and bone when I planted these up, so that always helps. It gives them a good start. Now, you can fill the pots up when you first plant the potatoes, and I do that sometimes, but I'll be honest, when I planted these potatoes I was eking out what compost I had. I was waiting for my milkman to deliver more. So for those of you who don't know, I normally order all my compost from the milkman. I found it's the best one and it gets brought to my door. Inside the polytunnel, I think, yes, I've still got about 1.5 sacks of the compost I prefer, which is the Durston's multi-purpose compost. And it was actually a lot cheaper than the Jack's Magic. So the thing is, stick to what you know. So when I'm working, I have these like random buckets and pots near the beds, and these are for my weeding. And the weeds, I try not to anyway, put weeds in my compost bins. Inevitably weeds blow in there or they get caught up with other plants. The plan is I try not to put any weeds in there, so once these buckets are full, I take them home and I put them in my home garden bin. I should do it more often by looks. I still haven't quite got round to clearing and weeding this flower bed here, and I've noticed that these little ones have self-seeded into the wood chip and they're really quite pretty, but it's going to make it a bit difficult deciding whether to pull them up and refresh the wood chip down this bit. Well, this is quite exciting to see. This is my couple of blueberry bushes I've got here. Now, I do love a blueberry, preferably in a blueberry muffin. I do make my own sometimes, but take it from somebody who has done an in-depth analysis and taste testing of every blueberry muffin out there. I personally think Asda are the best ones because they're just not too sweet and you actually get whole blueberries in there. You might not agree. If you come across one that's even better, please let me know. Another job on the list is fixing a clasp to the carrot box lid that I made a few videos ago. This finally arrived. I say finally arrived, it's my fault, I forgot to order something. But I think this will do the job. I'll just take you on a little walk to the said carrot box lid. As you can see, still working on the wood chip. I'm getting very easily distracted from that job because it is a horrible job. But yes, I'm going to be putting a clip there, and I think one will be plenty because we've had some high winds and the lid has stayed down. Inside, goodness, the bindweed is having a party. I definitely need to get to grips with that. I need to sieve some compost and then get the carrots in there. And I only ever grow one variety, and that's called Charisma. It hasn't let me down for the last 3 years, so I'm sticking with that. Some hours later, I'm still down at the plot. We've just had a little bit of rain, but big progress when it comes to lifting the old wood chip. And I cannot take the credit for doing all of this. A really kind friend of mine who's got an allotment just further up came down and offered to help, and the two of us, we have blitzed through and got so much of the old wood chip lifted. In fact, I've only just got a couple more bits to do, which are just down this little bit here, this one, this, and then in front of the polytunnel I'm going to replace some of the shredded membrane. So in fact that's not too much at all. So I'm waiting on a wood chip delivery, and then I can lay fresh wood chip down. We've even lifted it and levelled it a little bit underneath, so it's been an amazing job. Really pleased. Big thank you to all the new subscribers and for all my regular viewers as well. It's seen quite a jump recently, so yeah, thank you so much. Whilst I'm in the home garden, I'll just give you a little update on the greenhouse. So I've been doing some potting on of tomatoes and sweet peppers. Now, despite my goal to only grow a few tomatoes, I seem to have gone a bit mad. But I do it every year. I should be used to it by now. But the sweet peppers have been potted on and There's two varieties of tomatoes here, which are Heinz and Roma. More sweet peppers. Down here, I've got my Nagina, Gardener's Delight. It gets a little bit dark down here, so I've got my Brussels sprouts. They'll be ready to go to the allotment pretty soon. That propagator, I keep moving it around so it gets a bit more light. My cauliflowers, I've just put them here to get acclimatised because they're going to be going to the allotment soon. So I try to cram in obviously as much as I can. It's only got 2 shelves, but I do a sort of makeshift shelf at the bottom here, which is part of a shoe rack and a little tiny table. You'll notice I only use square pots. That's so I can also cram in a bit more. And also I utilise these clear plastic meat trays. So I have a very spoilt dog who I buy chicken drumsticks for, which she has cooked daily, and so I seem to acquire these plastic trays. So I give them a good wash, and they're great because the water doesn't then trickle through quite at all, and also they're good for transporting. So yeah, I've got a few of those. So yeah, I keep telling myself I can get more and more in here. I'm sure I can. I'm sure I can. Well, I think that just about wraps it up for this week's video. So until next time, take care now.